Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Rappahannock. We go with the flow. My name is Penny, and I'm delighted to be Marlie's service leader today. Marlie's topic is the outer form and the inner flame, religion, spirituality, and mysticism, how they are different and how they belong together. To all who are here this morning in person and via Zoom, welcome home. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, and whatever your life circumstance, you are welcome here. Our opening words this morning are from Lee Harris. He does a monthly energy update, and there were things in this one that I just needed to bring with me today. We're entering a powerful phase of awakening and transformation, personally and collectively. A mass awakening is unfolding as more people begin to question old systems, beliefs, and the world around them. What once felt certain may suddenly shift, inviting us to stay present. The steadier and more grounded we become within ourselves, the more we naturally bring calm, hope, and perspective to those around us. All right, our speaker today is Marlie Avant. Marlie and her husband Roy moved to Cobbs Creek, and I just realized when I was writing it this time that I know about where you live because I have two friends over that way. And we're thrilled to find the fellowship here at UUFR. They have one son here in Virginia and 4 granddaughters and 2 great-granddaughters in California. It's a good thing the heart knows no bounds. Marlie's talk today, the outer form and the inner flame, religion, spirituality, and mysticism, explores the difference between them and how they belong together. With her, we will explore religion as the shared vessel of tradition and community, spirituality as the lived path of meaning and connection, and mysticism as the direct experience of sacred presence. We will consider how the outer form needs the inner flame needs a vessel, and the vessel must remain open to the living water.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. After this 4th of July, you're here, bright-eyed, and I applaud you for that. The reading today is The Lamp and the Light. There's a story told in different ways across traditions. It begins with a single light, one vast, radiant mystery at the heart of everything. Call it God, Spirit, love, the holy, the ground of being. Call it the breath that moves through all things. The name is less important, really. Human beings standing before that mystery have always needed a way to remember. They have taken clay and carved vessels, taken wax and shaped candles, taken stories and formed scriptures, taken melodies and woven hymns. They have built temples and synagogues, mosques and churches, circles and shrines and quiet rooms. All of these are lamps. The lamps can be beautiful. They can carry the light through storms and through generations. But none of them are the light itself. They are ways of holding it, passing it, sharing it. We begin to believe that the vessel is the thing that saves us, that if we defend it and protect it, insist on its superiority, we will somehow be safe. But a lamp without light is only an object. A ritual without love is only a movement. A doctrine without compassion is only a sentence. The mystics in every tradition tell us that the holy is not locked in a single structure, a single book, or a single creed. As the Sufi poet says, the lamps are different, but the light is the same. Our work, then, is not to smash the lamps or to pretend we don't need them. Our work is to tend them with care, to keep their glass clean, their wicks trimmed, their oil replenished, to remember that they were made. And when we stand in their glow, our work is to ask how that light wants to move through us into kindness, into justice, into courage, into forgiveness, into a wider love than we have yet imagined. May we have the humility to honor one another's lamps and the courage to open ourselves to the light they carry. There are many ways we kneel and kiss the ground. Some kneel in churches, temples, mosques, synagogues, and sacred circles. Some kneel in gardens, at hospital bedsides, beside rivers, in kitchens, in silence, in grief, and in gratitude. Some kneel with words. Some kneel without words. Some kneel by feeding the hungry, sitting with the dying, forgiving what can be forgiven, or tending what has been wounded. The sacred belongs to everything and to everyone. Take a moment to notice your next inhale and your next exhale. No one here breathes for themselves. We are all receiving the same breath of life, the impartial gift that moves through each one of us. Before any doctrine, before any ritual, before the word of God or mystery, there is this: breath entering, breath leaving, life being given. Religion, spirituality, and mysticism are three ways human beings have tried to respond to this sacred gift. The sacred has never belonged to one doorway alone, and yet doorways matter. The Christian mystic Thomas Merton once wrote that there is in all things a hidden wholeness, a quiet, inexhaustible sweetness and purity at the root of creation. Even when life feels fragmented, even when our beliefs and paths differ, that hidden wholeness is still there. The sacred, again, belongs to everything and to everyone. The Sufi poet Rumi once wrote, "The lamps are different, but the light is the same." Religion, at its best, is one of those lamps, a vessel for the light, not the light itself. We need forms that help us remember. We need rituals that hold us when our own words fail. We need communities that gather us around something larger than the separate self. Religion, spirituality, and mysticism are three such doorways. They are not enemies. At the best, they belong to one another. The outer form needs the inner flame needs the vessel must remain open to the living water. Every tradition, every path, every sacred community must ask certain questions. What do we believe? How do we pray? How do we live? How do we organize our shared lives? Who belongs? These are not small questions. They shape the soul of a community. Religion tries to hold many things at once: what we believe, how we pray, how we live, and how we belong. It gives us stories and rituals that shape meaning, ethics that guide our conscience, and communities where those meanings and values can find a home. At its best, it helps us remember that we do not have to ask or answer life's deepest questions alone, nor do we have to answer them in the same way. In Unitarian Universalism, we may answer these questions differently from one another. But what holds us together is not having the same answers, but asking in the same spirit, in covenant, with sincerity, humility, reverence, and love. This is how we gather. This is how we listen. This is how we make room. And this is how we seek the sacred together. Just as we stand in awe before the wondrous diversity of nature, we might also learn to stand in awe before the diversity of sincere beliefs. The many ways human beings across time have searched for answers to the deepest questions. Who are we? Why are we here? How do we live together? What is love, and what does it ask of us? Religion is the shared vessel that holds those questions, shelters our searching, and helps us remember that we do not have to ask or answer them in the same way. And yet, even when the vessel is strong, we still have to ask, what does all this mean from inside me? How does it touch my own heart, my own experiences? That is the work of spirituality, the inner flame. Spirituality leans more towards the personal, the experiential, the inner. It often begins as a longing for a more fulfilling connection to the mysteries of life, to the sacred and the universal, to the beauty of nature, until our inner life and the larger world begin to move in harmony within us. We become aligned. Spirituality is what happens when the big questions come home to your actual life. It is the quiet nudge that asks, what gives my days meaning? What am I connected to, and how do I honor that? How do I live in a way that feels aligned with my deepest values? Sometimes spirituality is as simple and as difficult as this. Breathe in, I am held. Breathe out, I can let go. We may use many different words for the holy, or none at all, but the soul recognizes the rhythm. The ability to question existence, to think about divinity, to strive for wholeness, to wrestle with suffering, and still search for meaning. This is part of what makes us inherently spiritual. The spiritual seeker is often drawn by a longing, a call that beckons. It calls them beyond this business as usual. Modern spiritual hunger is complex. For many, it is not as a simple desire to return to the shelter of the old religious certainties. Once you've had a certain inner experience, once your consciousness has been stretched, no external authority can convince you that these experiences did not happen. A spirituality capable of meeting that inner life must be just as complex, just as honest. Thomas More reminds us that for some, the religion of childhood still feels alive and nourishing, while many others feel detached or even wounded by their inherited tradition. Yet even then, something in that tradition may still hold seeds of renewed spirituality for the soul to go searching. When we look at the history of religions, we see living streams, constantly reimagined and reformed so that their deepest insights can speak to new times and new hearts. You can see that with Judaism, in Christianity, in Buddhism, in the emergence of Zen, and many others. An individual life can mirror this same pattern, passing through phases, holding conflicting allegiances, surviving radical reforms and reinterpretations. Spirituality is the inner flame that keeps asking for authenticity, for honesty, for a faith that can hold the life you are actually living. For many of us, there comes a season of disillusionment. I know it did for me. Not with the holy itself, but with cultural inauthenticity, with versions of religion that feel shallow or performative. When the illusion falls away, what is left is a deeper hunger for what is real. For some, that deeper hunger becomes a longing not just to believe in the holy, but to encounter it. That longing is the doorway into mysticism. Mysticism leans towards direct encounter with the sacred. It is less about what we say we believe and more about what happens when the veil feels thin, when we sense a presence, a unity, a love so deep that words can't describe it. In many mystical traditions, this meeting is described in the language of lovers, of being wounded by love. That's the great longing. That's the being torn apart. The ego suffers through this meeting quite often, of losing oneself in the beloved. The Christian mystic John of the Cross wrote of being gently wounded and going out from himself, forgotten among the lilies, reaching for poetry when ordinary speech could not bear the weight of what he felt. This is how poetry often arises. Mysticism leans towards silence, contemplation, awe, and surrender, moments when the boundary between self and the sacred grows thin and the heart spills forth in poetry. Rumi wrote, "There is a voice that doesn't use words. Listen." Mysticism invites us to trust the wordless voice, the one that speaks in tears, in awe, in silence, in the simple act of being here together. The Sufi poet Hafiz wrote, "Awake, my dear, be kind to your own sleeping heart." be kind to your own sleeping heart. Take it out of the vast fields. Take it out into the vast fields of light and let it breathe. Let your heart breathe. Mysticism often calls us awake in just this way, to step out of the larger light, to let the heart breathe in a love that is wider than our fear. The mystic Thomas Merton wrote that the beginning of love is to let those we love be perfectly themselves. To let those we love be perfectly themselves, and not twist them to fit our own image. Otherwise, he said, we love only the reflection of ourselves. That insight is mystical and ethical at the same time. When we truly see another, when we let them be, something holy passes between us. Love, in this sense, leaves room for the Christian to pray to God, for the Buddhist to sit in mindfulness, for the humanist to reflect in gratitude, for the mystic to rest in silence, for the grieving person to simply breathe, for the unsure person to be held without needing to name what they believe. Sometimes silence is the most generous prayer in a room where many names for the holy are gathered. Mysticism reminds us that religion and spirituality are not just systems and ideas. They are invitations to encounters, moments when the inner flame flares up, like you sang today, when the living water rises to the surface of an ordinary day. Each of these, religion, spirituality, mysticism, has its own gifts and its own dangers. Religion without spirituality can become rigid, more concerned with preserving the vessel than tending the flame. Spirituality without religion can drift, lacking the wisdom and grounding of a shared tradition. Mysticism without either can become isolating, so focused on personal experience that it forgets the needs of the world. At their best, they correct and complete one another. Religion offers a vessel, stories, practices, structures, communities. Spirituality offers an inner flame, personalized meaning, conscience, and integrity. Mysticism offers the living water, the fresh, unpredictable experience of presence that keeps everything from drying out. It can feel like a sudden rain after a long drought, or a moment of beauty that washes through a tired day, or a conversation that leaves us feeling unexpectedly alive. The outer form needs the inner flame. The inner flame needs the vessel, and the vessel must remain open to that living water. Perhaps this is our work, here, now, to honor the traditions that hold us without mistaking the cup for the water. It is so easy to confuse the container with what it carries, to cling so tightly to the cup that we forget it. It was made to be filled and then poured out. Religion offers us many cups, doctrines, stories, and rituals. They can be strong and beautiful, but they are not the living presence itself. Spirituality teaches us to taste what is inside, to ask what truly nourishes our lives. Mysticism reminds us that the essence of the mystery cannot be named, owned, or contained. That the living water must keep moving or it dries up. Indeed, the living waters are too vast to be contained by any one cup, any one path, any one name. The Sufi poets have been singing about this for centuries. Hafiz invites us again, take your sleeping heart into the fields of light and let it breathe. May our religion be a strong vessel. May our spirituality be a clear, steady flame. And may our mysticism keep the waters flowing. May the wounds that broke our hearts become doorways, not dead ends. And may we together become a living tradition, ever reforming, ever listening, ever opening to the breath of life that moves through each and every one of us. And may it be so.
Thank you, Marlie. All my life, I've been trying to figure this stuff out. I came to a vessel that was the Roman Catholic Church that was beautiful for my mother to find out what she wanted, but it didn't really make sense to me. So my vessel became nature, and my religion became spirituality, that I told everybody. And I tried all different religions, and I've been to them, all the synagogues and ashrams and everything. And it's always been a personal thing for me. And I guess I've always been a mystic on that aspect. But from each of these religions and each of these vessels, I found something that stirred that light inside of me. And once you have that taste of mysticism, you can't do anything but tell everybody. And when you're in a religion that's personal to you, it comes out, okay, I don't want to share it with other people or whatever it is, but you can't help but sharing it. And I hid from the vessel for most of my life since I was 12 until I found the UU here. And this is a place that you can have all three all the time. Right. And it's sermons like this and everything else that just makes it beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
Marlie, what you've just done, and this is echoes of what Jeff has mentioned, is we live in a world of stereotypes and labels, and you just allowed us to have discernment by making the distinction and also seeing the connection and the relationship of the whole. So let me see, I think this would probably be the activation of awakening energy. Oh, that's our theme. But again, I think the beauty of allowing us to have that, use our mind to understand the distinctions, allows us a richer way to hold it all rather than judge or evaluate.
Marlie, you did more than just open our hearts. You opened our souls as well. Thank you.
So many ways in our lives we're asked to be small and fit into a box. But we're so much more, and we're all that. And so the permission to be all that, to be religious, to be spiritual, to be mystical, as we want to, as it flows through our lives. What a beautiful gift, right?
Yes, just like this breath. just like this breath.
Right.
And
Thank you for reminding us that we're all of that.
you are. You are.
Anybody else?
Marlie, it's impressive to think of the amount of time and thought and caring and back-checking, reviewing, and then the paying attention to delivery of this today's sermon. I hope this is something that we can revisit maybe every other year, if not every year. But as you can tell by the response in here, you really reached out to this community today successfully. Thank you.
My heart feels so open.
Oh, your
Just-
heart is always open. And that light shines right through you all the time.
Thank you. But it just, I feel so connected to people who think in the ways that I hear described in this room. And what a gift it is to have this community with this leader that we have and a service as thoughtful as that. I just love everybody here.
We love you right back, Lou.
Step back, William. I think that there was a whole lot here for all of us to feel, but I'd like to add a small monkey wrench. But look at everything that way. Look at that window. What is that window? That window isn't just the frame. That window isn't just the glass. That window is the opening. So if you have this kind of thinking, you can carry it with you everywhere. And we would miss you, Marlie, but we can think of it ourselves too.
Yes.
So I like to play with what's happening, and one of the things that I spoke about when I did my gratitudes was creating good stories. Marlie, you have just created a good story where I could have thought about religion or spirituality or even mysticism from some isolated perspective. You have woven a story that allows me to hold them all. And that is a great story to tell. So thank you.
Yeah, it's the mystery that weaves it. It's the light that weaves it. I'm sure everyone has moved through those, and it moves us. So, yes, thank you.
Another double dipper.